Yeah. All right. So today we're going to be talking about how to buy a used car the smart way and like things you should avoid when looking to buy a new or primarily a used car. So I just recently bought a 21 Colorado, and then most of the steps that I use, I'll tell you in this video. So before I had the Colorado, I had a Challenger, and so obviously everyone knows that the car market is crazy right now. So, but you can get a lot for your car, like in trade-in, but that also means if you want to buy a used car, it's up over its MSRP. So it's like like I've even seen like 7,000 over MSRP. So you got to be smart and look. I use a lot of cars.com. You go on there and just check, hey, it says like great deals and it says like fair deals, which is obviously the worst. But I'm just going to tell you guys some tricks or tips that I used. So first, I've heard some people go on Facebook, like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and I think eBay Motors even sells cars now, but I wouldn't do that. Me personally, just because I've heard so many stories of people getting robbed and stuff like that. But if you can do that if you want, but also I would, if you're going to get a car, especially if it's an older car, like more than 5 years old, I would go look at the car first, and then maybe if the person's okay with it, which they should be, is bring it to a mechanic and just kind of see, like, they say, the fuel line's done or the transmission's shaky kind of thing, and before you buy it, because you don't want to buy it and then obviously the thing breaks down. So, and then you also want to, like, say you're, I think trucks are more like this, but say you're getting a 7-year-old car, right? Or say a Honda Accord. I think it really just depends on the type of car that you get is about the amount of miles that it is okay to have, if that makes sense. So if you get a Honda Accord, 100,000 should be fine, but like miles. But if you get like a truck, it depends on the truck too. If you get like a Nissan Frontier, and 100,000, it'd be kind of pushing. You want to get like for truck wise, you want to get like the Chevy or Ford or like, even the Tacomas, like those will last you, and that's the point. You don't want to buy a truck and then last 5,000 miles and then be I just paid 15,000-20,000 for that truck. But you also want to make sure, say you're getting a Honda Accord or like kind of like a daily driver, you want to make sure it's a name brand. I say name brand in the sense that it's like here are some like Honda, Chevy, Ford, especially. Those kind of like, Toyota, you hear those things every day. You see those cars every day. And there's a reason you see all those cars every day, because they're reliable. I mean, me personally, I'm not a huge Hyundai fan, and I'm not a huge Buick fan. And I know like Saab, I see like one of my friends was going to go buy a new, or not new, they don't make them anymore, but a used Saab. And I said, it's going to be so hard once you buy that car to like maintain it, because there's not many people that will work on Saab, because obviously they're out of business now. And so yeah, you want to make sure it's a name brand, as they like to say, but you also want to make sure it has low-ish 1,000 miles. You don't want to get a car that has, at least for me, I wouldn't never buy a truck or car or anything over 200. 150 is kind of pushing, but 100's usually fine, unless it's like, not name brand, as I like to say. But so yeah, so these are some tips and tricks that I used to buy my Colorado. I went on cars.com and just kind of looked up, what I was looking for and price range. And I put in the offer that they gave me for my Challenger, and which was really not good. But you also want to make sure that you go to many dealerships for your trade-in, because you don't want to get ripped off. Because some dealerships will just, offer you 4,000 less than the car is actually worth, because they want to make more money, which makes sense. It's a business at the end of the day. But still, you want to make sure you get the most for your money. So I would go on you also can go on I think Kelley Blue Book has a decent, but they were saying kind of like they almost overpay, but they won't actually pay that amount, if that makes sense. But I go, where was it? Carvana, I'm also not a huge fan of, but they give you, you can get a estimate within like minutes. So I would recommend doing that and kind of getting, in the ballpark of what your car is worth, and then going to a dealership and say, hey, this is what my car is worth, and if I need to get at least, say it's worth 25, I need to get at least 23.9 or whatever. But so yeah, so these are some tips and tricks, and thank y'all.
Yeah.